Man, Metallica is obviously the best band in the world. Have you ever heard of Master of Puppets? Yeah, I don't really like that metal stuff. It's too extreme. Have you ever listened to Mozart? Symphony No. 40 just hits the spot. And you can't really argue with composers who have withstood the test of time. Classical music? Ah man, nobody listens to that anymore. Hip-hop is the shit nowadays, and Eminem will forever be the king of music. I believe we've all found ourselves in a conversation like this at some point in our lives. At least I know I have. Often if someone knows that I've studied composition, I'm dragged into these debates as some sort of arbiter of truth as to what constitutes good and bad art. Yet whenever this happens, I find it impossible to agree or disagree with any party, and here is why. In order to determine whether something is better than something else, we have to be able to prove it with facts. This Dodge Viper has 650 horsepower. This Buddy 50 has 6 horsepower. We can then say with certainty that the Dodge Viper has more horsepower than the Buddy 50. In the same way, we could also gather some facts about two pieces of music and compare them. A pop song might consist of 4 chords, while the average prog rock or metal song has hundreds of chords. Yet more chords does not equal better music. There are countless of compositions that are harmonically simple, yet have been deemed as masterworks by society. You might also point out that, well, for me, songs with hundreds of chords are too chaotic. I kind of like songs with 8 chords or less, and you would be perfectly right in saying so. We could make the argument that a 4-chord song is less harmonically complex than a song which has more, yet more complex, and that goes for any metric, be it rhythmically, in regards to form, performance, or instrumentally, does not equal better. Some people just love to boast that they have a good taste in music, and they often legitimize this by proving that the compositions they listen to have a high degree of complexity, and therefore it should be superior to that of other compositions. But the compositions are just that, varying degrees of complexity, and not better by any stretch of the imagination. So, where does that leave us in our quest to determine whether a piece of art is good or bad? The problem with trying to prove that one piece of art is better or worse than another is that art does not exist as art outside of our senses. A painting or a composition exists in physical form as paint on canvas or as arranged pitches sounding from our headset. But it does not become art until it interacts with our senses and becomes an experience. And the moment it does, it is you who owns that experience. And so the only person that can determine whether it is good or bad is you. You don't really need a musicologist or a composer to tell you if something is good or bad. You either instantly know it's good, or you learn to love it, or it is not for you. In the same way, you don't need an art dealer to tell you whether a painting is good or bad. They can say a painting is worth X or Y based on its market value, yet the final judgment of good or bad will always be in your hands.